I first fell into the world of bodybuilding during COVID, in that weird time where gyms were closed. I was like quite a serious swimmer. I was actually aiming for the Paris 2024 Olympics, which is like, it's so nostalgic to watch. But anyway, we're here and we're now a pro bikini athlete. I competed in a smaller federation to start off with. I ended up loving it and then competed in my first WBFF back then show. Came third in that one, and then I competed this April and won my pro card. It's just a great world to be in, honestly.
Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Moore, and today we are chatting to someone who has been very highly requested by all of you. She recently won her FMG Pro card, and she is just a beautiful human inside and out. Kaylah Holmes, welcome.
Oh, hey, thanks so much for having me, Sarah. That was so nice.
I'm so excited for this chat. So let's start with the beginning of your journey. You've had such an inspiring journey in bodybuilding. Can you share with us how you first got involved with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a bit of a crazy whirlwind, especially the last 3 years. But yeah, so I've done 3 comps all up, bodybuilding comps. I first fell into the world of bodybuilding during COVID, in that weird time where we were sort of training at home, gyms were closed, all that jazz. I come from a swimming background, so all up until 2020, I was like quite a serious swimmer. Funnily enough, I was actually aiming for the Paris 2024 Olympics, which is like, it's so nostalgic to watch. But anyway, we're here and we're now, a pro bikini athlete. But to give a little rundown of my journey, I started with a coach that I knew, Tammy Hall. She lives on the Central Coast. She's also a FMG Pro. She was my first ever coach for my first ever prep, and it was such an incredible experience. I competed in a smaller federation to start off with because I wasn't too sure. Like, I feel like for your first comp, I didn't really have the confidence. I wasn't sure if I even liked bodybuilding. Like, I was kind of, in love with the gym, but not sure if I wanted it to be, my competitive, escape like it was, like swimming was. But I ended up loving it. And then my sights were set on the WBFF stage, of course. Tammy went and won her pro card, and she was in prep when I decided I wanted to compete in the first WBFF show, when it was WBFF back then. So then I ended up moving on to Ella Martin, who's also an FMG Pro. Awesome experience as well, because Tammy was in prep. She didn't want to take on any clients. So I was like, okay. But yeah, learned so much in my first prep, realized I definitely loved it and this is the lifestyle for me. And then competed in my first WBFF back then show. Came third in that one. And then I competed this April and won my pro card, FMG Pro card. So it's almost like I've done 3 years back to back. I did a back-to-back prep last prep, but this journey, it's just been like, 2020, I wasn't even really, a bodybuilder, so to speak, and now I call myself a pro bikini athlete. So it's been a crazy journey, but I've loved every moment of it, and meeting awesome people in the industry like yourself. And yeah, it's just a great world to be in, honestly.
Yeah, incredible. What an insane journey you've had over the last few years. I feel like there is so much to unpack there. So starting
So
from the
much.
beginning, like what made you transition from swimming to bodybuilding? Was there something that happened or something that clicked within you?
Yeah, so it was predominantly with what was going on in the world with COVID. I had finished high school, and yeah, it was weird. I did my HSC in COVID, and it was just a bit weird. Life was changing, uncertainty everywhere. And I ended up actually moving to Byron Bay and living there for a little bit with my partner at the time. And I fell in love with the gym. Like, I've had a personal trainer slash coach, gym coach, since the age of 13, like with swimming. And like, swimming pools were closed. Obviously I wasn't training, like swim training. So I had to find another outlet because I was getting a little bit overweight. I was kind of just, eating heaps of kebabs. Like, when you stop training but still eat the same amount of food, it just doesn't work. And I had to realize that the hard way, of course. And I just thought to myself, I didn't feel like myself. I felt really unhealthy and unfit, and I needed to find, I guess, my purpose again as an athlete. Because I was like, maybe, the doors are closed, maybe I need to start working, start being a normal human, whatever. But nah, I definitely felt, I guess, the calling into the bodybuilding world, falling in love with the gym, falling in love with that, I guess, that self growth and self awareness that you build from, hitting goals, just being so in control of the controllables. And yeah, it's a weirdly disciplined sport, kind of like swimming. And I think that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, amazing. And what sort of changed in your training and how you were training at the gym when you decided to start doing bodybuilding and obviously training for the aesthetic side of things?
Yeah, it's funny. I actually really now prefer training for aesthetics over performance because with swimming, it was a lot of like compound lifts, like isolated movements with like band movements and like really random stuff, like, specific for swimming performance. But now that it's purely for aesthetics, hip thrusts, hamstrings, like dominant things, like, all the little jazz, bodybuilding jazz, it's very different, and I actually quite liked that transition. So instead of doing like barbell squats and stuff like that, more so focusing on, maybe pendulum squats, hack squats, like machine based work. Definitely less likely to injure yourself. I loved that. But still tapping into the same, I guess, intensity principles that I used in swimming, like that feeling of training hard and training with purpose and training with intensity. Still tapping into those skills. But yeah, the style of training, I love training for aesthetics at the moment. Like, it's just so fun.
It is super fun. And obviously, you were an elite athlete before, and now you're elite in a different way, which is incredible. How was the transition to bodybuilding, like nutrition? I'm assuming that's quite different to swimming.
Oh yeah, crazy difference. Like with swimming, I wouldn't say I ate what I wanted, but I just, it was just, pasta makes you faster, like, that kind of vibe. So, very different. But I believe the awareness that you build around nutrition with bodybuilding or working with an online coach is just so invaluable. Like, I never really got that level of guidance and nutrition through swimming because I was only in like junior to Oz teams and stuff like that. So it wasn't like, crazy. I'm sure what like the Olympians have now. Like obviously they have protocols and stuff, but yeah, I think the awareness I built at a young age around nutrition through going through that hard transition of, oh, I've been eating to fuel my body and now I'm not even training, why am I getting so overweight, and realizing no, food is fuel, like blah, 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 all that stuff. It was definitely an eye opener, but I'm just so grateful that, I went through it. And I think everyone goes through these sort of waves to figure out what they want and to figure out, their goals. So yeah, I'm so grateful that it happened.
Yeah, definitely. And what is it that you love so much about bodybuilding?
Oh, there's so many things. Like, from an outside perspective, the community of women that you meet and men, um, and you know, like we're all got that common interest, that like-mindedness. We're all a little bit crazy in the way we have our little steppers. Like, I saw your setup today with your laptop and your and your
Yeah.
walking pad. Like, stuff like that. Meet the community and meeting amazing, inspiring people you can just bounce off. I think that is probably one of my favorite things about bodybuilding. But about the sport itself, I do love the discipline required and that, sort of savage that you have to like dig deep to find in yourself as well. I think it's a lot. It's very much like a journey of self growth, and every prep you sort of learn something new about yourself. So that's probably another thing I love about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And what kind of drives you to dig deep? Like if you're having a really tough day on prep and you really don't want to do it, what drives you to get stuff done?
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one, hey, because with prep, there's always something that's going to happen, right? Like, life's never perfect. Life will always throw you curveballs in prep, or if you have a got specific goal, whether it's to do with your personal life or physically, if you're not seeing, if the scale's not going down or whatever. I really think that you have to almost tap into that masculine, logical, black or white, you're either doing it or you're not doing it sort of vibe. So that's what I like to tap into. So it's like, make it black and white. You're either going to do it or you're not going to do it. And obviously you're going to do it. So do it properly. I think tapping into that's really good rather than just, oh, well, I might do it. I might do it tomorrow. Like, no, don't put it off. Just boom, shakalaka, get it done. I think that's probably a good mindset to have, especially in prep. Probably not so much lifestyle. I think talking prep, if you want to do it properly, don't muck around and don't leave a stone unturned.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. And I've seen a few people recently, I think, struggling a little bit with that concept. Like they're saying they're on prep, but they're not sure if they're going to be ready on time and they're not sure if they're going to compete in the show or one a bit later. What advice would you give to someone who's having those kind of thoughts?
Oh, look, personally, I would say if you're not all in, you're not all in. I mean, it's just like, it doesn't have to be, if you're not all in, you don't have to be prepping for a show yet. You can be prepping for a photo shoot. It can just be like a mini cut. It could be like just a cutting phase going into but like the stage will always be there. And if you're uncertain about certain things, like, oh, I don't know if I'll be stage ready or competitive, or I guess it depends on your goal. Like, I think some people have goals to get on stage as like a bucket list thing, which is so cool. I rate that so much. But if you're doing it to win, you need to do it to win and do it properly and have that full self belief. And I think that's something I've definitely learned over the past 12 months. It comes down to your mindset and self belief. And if you're not 100% there in the mind, then the day you're not going to be 100% there. So I would say reevaluate your goals or just really figure out, like, yep, I'm ready. Let's just jump in. What's that saying? Cold water doesn't get warmer if you jump late. Do you know what I mean? Like, just
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah. You just have to, like you said, just be 100% in on it and just trust the process, trust your coach, and just do everything that you're meant to be doing. And that will really build confidence, I think. And then you will definitely be ready if you do everything that you're
Yeah.
meant to.
Yeah. You'll see the magic. You'll see things happening. You'll see changes. You'll feel amazing. And, of course, we all have days of self doubt. But you just need to, like you said, trust yourself and trust your coach. I think that's huge. And then, yeah, it'll all just unfold.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did it mean to you when you won your pro card?
Oh, that was like the cherry on top of such an incredible, like, 3-year journey. Like, I give credit to all three of my coaches that I worked with, Tammy, Ella, and Troy. Like, to I believe, like, getting a pro card, it's not like just in the prep that happens. It's a build up of years of work and dedication, not just physically but emotionally, and you need to have the mindset of a winner. So the feeling of actually obtaining that, I was so grateful. Like, seriously, overflowing with gratitude. And the FMG Sydney show was such a vibe as well. Backstage, everyone was so lovely, and it was like a very rewarding, solidifying feeling that, yeah, I wanted this and I got this. So yeah, just really grateful that I came to that sort of conclusion. I guess, like you said, it builds confidence when you do what you say you're going to do. So it was just the best feeling ever. Like, I mean, I've won some things in swimming before, and like I've experienced that, but it's just different in this sport, isn't it? Because there's so many emotions and so much more gets put on the line, not just physically, but I believe it's just a huge emotional journey as well. So yeah, emotions were bubbling.
Yeah, that was such an incredible show, and it was so cool to be there watching and see you get your pro card because you could definitely see those emotions. You see people working hard, posting their updates on Instagram, and you're like really rooting for them because you see people improving and like improving in placings, and then you're just really hoping they go pro. So yeah, it was such an incredible moment. And you went from third place in November right to first place in April. Can you walk us through what changes or improvements you made between these shows?
Yeah, so a huge shift, I guess, in me mentally was, well, because the WBFF, the November show, FMG, whatever we want to call it, um, coming third, it was my debut, and I knew deep down I wanted to win from the get go, but I think I just needed to realize that in myself and have like the get go and the drive to believe it. I think it comes a lot down like to believing it fully. I really wanted to come in more, and I wanted to just bring a completely different package. I didn't want to just rinse and repeat the same package. I really wanted to take on the judges' feedback seriously and do everything and anything I could to do it. So I hired Troy as my coach, and Troy is renowned for producing, winners and for really being so like savage, like this is how you do it. And I wanted that masculine kind of like authority. So I think making that switch to Troy was a good change that I needed. Like having female coaches in the bodybuilding space, like I've learned so much from them, and their nurture and the awareness around nutrition that I learned is invaluable, and I still use it to this day. But I think I needed to tap into I needed to think about to my core, like what did I used to do in swimming? And I've always had male coaches in swimming. So I felt it was almost like this, I needed to get the round, like, I needed to get that competitive edge out because I knew the processes and I knew I had the willpower and the work ethic. It was just a matter of really like dialing in on that end. We built my glutes like crazy. We came in tighter. We built size everywhere, actually, I think. Like, I really pushed hard and followed his protocols to an absolute T. And yeah, it worked. And I'm just so grateful. It was an awesome journey.
Yeah, amazing. So, what was your feedback from the judges
From this show.
for the show where you came third?
That show, they said I needed to come in tighter in the glutes.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. Yeah, it was just like come in tighter in the glutes. Like had a hectic lineup at both shows. Like the amazing Sam Wicks, she won that show, and there's no denying her glutes. Like she is incredible. And yeah, so I did know deep down I wanted to come in tighter and I wanted to put in more as well. Like I'm a bit of a freak when it comes to cardio. Like, and I really wanted a coach to match that freak. You know what I mean? So we dug deep and came in tighter in the glutes, also built size everywhere. And then, so we pretty much addressed that feedback, if not more. They also said, I think something about my posing, like just a little bit more specific because I was sort of getting a bit excited. I got too excited on stage because I was just having so much fun. So we really dialed in my posing as well with Beck from Australian Posing School. I could not have done it without her as well. Really nailed specific poses. And of course, it makes sense now with FMG. They say, like, we don't want you fluffing around, twirling and feeling yourself up and this, that. Like, we want to see your glutes. Like, it's a bodybuilding competition. We want to see, so I really wanted to still bring my personality, but target those areas. And I think we nailed it. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, there's still improvements to be made for future shows and stuff. But yeah, I believe we smashed that feedback. It was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. The growth between the two shows was insane. So specifically, like what protocols did you follow and what did you do to achieve that glute growth and overall growth?
So one thing that I realized I think happens in all preps, when your calories get a little bit low, your training intensity of course slips, and it's just what's going to happen. I really had to find that competitive edge in me again to take my training intensity seriously and actually like smack my glutes, in hip thrusts, push through that pain in training. So I really focused on training intensity, mind muscle connection. Even like I've followed Troy's protocols to like the T, to the point of taking like, primrose oil, fish oil, like taking all of the supplements to a T, following his meal plans to a T, like really just taking it that extra bit seriously. All of the other preps that I've done, they had been done with like a flexible dieting kind of approach, which I agree with as well. But personally, I don't think I'd prep any differently now. I think keeping most variables the same and really just pushing that training intensity was like killer. That really made a huge difference.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing on prep because, like you said, you start getting that fatigue, you start getting the drop in energy when your calories are dropping, and it really is a big push to keep the same kind of intensity. And then obviously, recovery suffers a little bit as well when you're in a calorie deficit. So, what were you doing to recover from those intense sessions?
Yeah, you know what? I'm really lucky. I think like DOMS, obviously, I suffer severely from DOMS, but I recover very quickly. I really need to stretch more and stuff like that. But on the recovery side of things, like, every now and then I'd do a sauna and an ice bath. I sort of got into a bit of a routine with that, but then I didn't like stick to it fully. I was just kind of really focusing on just nailing it and nailing the cardio, nailing everything else, stretching if I needed to, but listening to my body as well. Because we were targeting predominantly glutes, to get glute DOMs in itself is pretty tricky without getting like, hamstrings or quad DOMs as well. So we did pretty much work towards getting the glute recovery to how it needed to be. But I'm really not a recovery, chauffeur at all. I need to improve my recovery, but I still pushed through and I ended up, yeah, I think it's because I'm young. I don't know.
I mean, it sounds like you're hitting all of your other protocols as well. So, like, if your nutrition's on point and your supplementation's on point and you're sleeping well and all of that, then I think that's going to definitely help with your recovery. So, I think
Yeah.
whatever you're doing is working. So, just keep doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I might roll out a few times, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like, yeah, actually, recovery, I'm not very the best person to be like, yeah, do this, do this, do this. But yeah.
No, that's fair. What challenges did you face doing back-to-back preps?
So the biggest challenge was definitely self-imposed because I went straight to Vietnam after the November show for uni placement. So I didn't reverse properly. Obviously, it was hard to try and reverse properly. And to this day, I still haven't actually reversed properly. Another thing that I think I owe myself as an athlete and as a human being, I think the reverse diet is so imperative. Like whether you're doing a back-to-back prep or not, the reverse diet is more important than the comp prep. I don't think people believe us when we say that, but it's definitely true. So I think the biggest challenge there was the fact I didn't reverse properly, so my metabolism really wasn't in the best place. Therefore, I was doing crazy amounts of cardio, like crazy. Not that it was challenging. I actually really love cardio and I love feeling fit, but I think that was a challenge that could have been avoided if I had have somehow reversed properly, but it's just too hard overseas, to be honest.
Yeah, that
It's
would have
too
been
hard.
so hard with all the yummy Vietnamese food as well.
So good. And also I was on uni placement, like there was a lot going on. It wasn't like a holiday. I wasn't maxo relaxo. Like I was working in an international school as a swim coach. So I also was just like, look, food, I don't want to have to be worrying about this right now. I want to worry about, doing a good job and performing in a different like scale of things. But yeah, it was definitely, I put on weight a little bit quickly. But you know what, as soon as I got home and as soon as I started following protocols again, like it's amazing once you start reining it in how quickly you respond and how quickly you sort of get back on track. So that I got back on track pretty quickly and it was all good. But I definitely think the longevity of not reversing properly is definitely detrimental.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would have been difficult overseas for sure, but I think as soon as you kind of return back to similar protocols to what you were doing on prep, you definitely feel your best. Obviously, eating a bit more food and things like that, but still, hitting steps, possibly doing a little bit of cardio, like eating similar foods that you're eating before, but like with the added balance of maybe some meals out and a little bit more calories. I think that's the best way to feel your best post show, but it is really hard depending on what you've got going on in
It's
life for
hard.
sure.
Yeah, because when comp finishes, yeah, like all the excitement, everything, it's all done now, and you need to still dial in and find that discipline to have that balanced, healthy kind of approach. Because I'm sure you've experienced it too. You go through this weird mindset of like, I need to eat like all of these things because I've missed out. Like you feel like you're like deserving of it almost. Well, I feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's like we need to get rid of that mindset. And something that Ella taught me is that yeah, food is in abundance, and like we don't need to go crazy after comp. We can be balanced and still hit protocols, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And what advice do you have for someone who has achieved a top placing and wants to go pro in their next show?
I would say if you've achieved a top placing, then congrats. And that means, your physique and posing is potentially nearly there. I'd say take on the judges' feedback seriously and also feedback from your coach. Um, and make sure that you put into place all protocols. Like if you want to win, you need to be doing what a winner is going to be doing. Like, really dialing it in, reining it in, and acting like a winner as well, walking around like a winner, hyping up people, like being a role model. I think winning is not just about perfecting your physique and perfecting your posing, etc. But to win means that you obtain your pro status. So people look up to you, people are inspired by you. So start embodying that. And I think everything else will fall into place as well if you really embody the pro mindset before you've actually earned your pro title. I think that's very, very valuable and everything will fall into place.
Yes, I couldn't agree with that more. What are your next goals within the sport?
Next goals, I want a few crowns in my wardrobe. So I really want to win a world title. I've won a world title in swimming before, so I want to do that again. And yeah, win my pro debut would be awesome. That would be a cool goal. But yeah, definitely a few crowns and keep improving my physique. Like within the sport, it's not just about winning and this that. Like it's about being your best self. And I'm definitely not done yet. I don't think I'll ever be done. Like I think we all have this type A personality, where when you're on this journey to being better and better and better, like you're never going to be complacent. So I think one of my key goals is to just continue improving and building and growing.
Yeah, amazing. And I feel like those goals are so achievable when you look back and see what you've achieved over the last 3 years. Like, just imagine what you can achieve in the next 3 years with the same kind of work ethic and dedication. And like you said, you just keep learning and growing along the way. So those results are just going to come even quicker, I feel.
That's so true. I love that. Sometimes we all need to remind ourselves of how far we've come, in 3, 5, even 2 years. Like, look back at your memories and you go, what was I doing it 2 years ago? And it's like, wow, like, yeah, you're going to be really grateful for where you stand. And yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah. Have you decided on your pro debut or are you sharing that yet?
So, Troy and I have not discussed this at all. And it is definitely, well, we have discussed it, but nothing's been decided to be confirmed. But I really want to aim, like, this is not definite, but I want to aim for LA next year, and then back it up at Worlds, I think.
Yes,
That's
amazing.
that's what
Because,
I'm thinking, but
yeah.
we shall see. Definitely Worlds. Like I want to do a Worlds. Might as well jump on it now. And definitely an international show. So
Yeah, for sure. And for anyone listening, you do need qualification for Worlds. So, did that get you qualification doing the Sydney show?
yeah,
Or
apparently it
oh,
did.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because you had to
amazing.
compete in FMG, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There we go. Perfect.
but Worlds
And
isn't overseas, so I want to tick.
yeah,
I want to tick all boxes.
I mean, there's so many incredible shows to choose from as well. Like that's a really cool thing about FMG.
Yeah, I know. Like, I am so excited for FMG to just take the world by storm. Like, all of the shows are looking so incredible, and like, how grateful are we to be part of such an incredible federation that's like Texas, Italy. Like, just keep them rolling. Gosh, it's so good to see.
Yeah, it's hard to choose which one. I'm like, I just want to go do a world trip and have unlimited money and do all the shows.
Literally, if only we could.
So, how has turning pro impacted other areas of your life?
I mean, turning pro, it's like something that I'm so grateful for, and to be a part of the FMG family and to be a part of that pro space, and the support from everyone has just been like so amazing. But affecting other areas of my life, to be honest, I wouldn't say it has changed anything. I think, like I was saying before, I already really wanted to embody that of a pro before I actually earned my pro status. Like I wanted to already act like a professional athlete and, be a role model, hype people up. And I think that's what being a professional athlete should entail, and what most people are like. So to be honest, it really hasn't changed many areas of my life because I already had that self-belief that I was worthy before it even happened, if that makes sense. And I think that's a really cool mindset to have. So yeah, I wouldn't say like being pro, like all of a sudden it's like, wow, the world's your oyster. You're now a pro athlete. If anything, it's just confirmed like, the belief in myself and how I like to identify as, to help others, and be a bit of a role model for people up and coming who want to also join the pro family. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Is there anything that you did, like you said, obviously you were embodying the pro mindset and trying to embody that person before you won your pro card? Is there anything you did to kind of help build that mindset or step into that person?
Absolutely. So um, I promised and made like an oath to myself this last prep that I wouldn't be caught in any sort of negative complaining mindset. I think this sport, like, of course, we're depleted, we're overtrained, like, it's very easy to start complaining and yada, 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 like, especially like seeing other people on prep, how you feeling? Oh, I'm so tired. Like, there's all this negativity that I really don't like. I think it just doesn't reflect well on you as an athlete, and it doesn't help hype the sport up and bring that energy and that gratitude that we really do obtain to our core. So I made an oath just to really vibrate positive energy, like, at all times, to everyone, to everything, like, bring the vibes every single day. And I think a main thing that helped me sort of tap into that mindset was having a bit of a more grounded, holistic approach to my day to day. So I start my days with minimum 10 minutes of meditation, journaling and stuff like that. Like, all of that wholesome kind of stuff actually has really changed my emotional state and how I view the world. Because I think as well, when you're in prep, you're in your own little bubble. And it's like, if the scale's not going down or if something's not going wrong, it's like the world's going to end, because your brain changes. Like, the chemicals in your brain, it's amazing. They change. You think you're not lean and you're shredded, and all of this stuff happens. And I think, yeah, to really tap into that and embody the best version of myself as an athlete, aka like as a pro sort of vibe, I wanted to just really embrace positive affirmations. Yeah.
Yes, and you absolutely do that. You have the most positive vibes out of probably anyone I know competing. So
Oh,
congrats on that.
it's the
What
meditation. Thank you.
yeah. What prompts would you use when you're journaling to try and channel that positivity?
I actually have a journal that has prompts in it. It's really good. It's called Dreamy Moons. Highly recommend. But I think some key prompts: ask yourself, where could I improve today, or almost reflect on how you feel and how your emotions are sort of driving you. So, how did this make me feel today? How did it feel doing, that drop set of hip thrusts and pushing through that pain? Like, how did that feel? Like, realizing what emotions are serving you. So for me, excitement, gratitude, joy, all of those emotions, and like reflecting and journaling how they feel and really embodying that is a really cool way to write down how you're feeling. And also, I actually did this thing where I'd write down like all of the good things that would happen in the day. Like, I've actually stopped doing this, but I need to start doing it again. I called them miracles, but then, like, it's not miracles, but I just thought everything was a miracle. Like, I was just in this mad headspace. Any good thing that happened, like, let's say you're walking down the street and this really pretty like butterfly flies past you or something. I actually literally have a space in my journal full of miracles, and if I was on the go, I'd write it in my phone to write in my journal later, like good stuff that happens, and just really like reining in on that positive vibe. That's probably what you want to journal down. You don't want to journal down neg stuff unless you need to get it out. Journal it and burn it if it's negative.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, moving on to social media and branding, I feel like you've been growing your presence on social media and securing some pretty incredible brand deals. Can you tell us a bit about your approach to branding yourself and what strategies you use to secure these deals?
Yeah, so I think social media, the world of social media at the moment is just like going off, and there's so many changes happening. Um, Funnily enough, like, a lot of people ask me this, like, how do you grow your following, like this, that. There is no strategy. I have not followed any strategy. The amount of people that have been in my ear saying, you need to post more fitness content, you need to post more talking content, you need to post, you're so intelligent, you should post more like videos speaking, like this. I actually have not, like, I've tried, but I'm just doing what I like to do and posting what I find joy in. So I would say, when it comes to branding, it's really important to just be fully authentic and yourself. I think a lot of things in this day and age is rinse and repeat, and I think brands see that. So I actually haven't like gone and like asked brands to work with or anything like that. If anything, I've had to say no to a few things that I don't really fully, I'm not fully passionate about, promoting. So I think in securing brand deals and building a social media presence, you just need to figure out your niche, like to your core. Like it's not going to be Sally's niche over there. It's not going to be what, Jade's posting over here. It's going to be you and authentically what you want to share. And I think that's a really hard thing for people to get because, of course, with the world of social media, it's a place where people look for validation or they're fearful of rejection, fearful of judgment. And so I think you just need to let all of that go and go with the flow and post what's authentically you.
Yeah, I love that. And in a sport that just demands so much discipline and sacrifice like bodybuilding, is there anything in your routine or any like little rituals or anything you do that has significantly contributed to your success?
Yeah, so I would probably say in prep, of course, we all have routines and rituals. Like you need to smack your cardio, your training, you need to be over prepared with your food and all of that stuff. But I think what really contributed to my success was, really focusing on my mindset and on my energy. And I think that would come down to self care habits, journaling, meditation. Really raiding into that side of prep was life changing for me. And I think that contributed a lot to my success.
Yeah, amazing. I think that's massive as well. And what's one myth about bodybuilding or bodybuilders that you would like to debunk?
Ooh, a myth to debunk. There's so many, isn't there? um, Probably you can't build muscle in a deficit because you can. Or um, building muscle will make you look bulky. Like it won't. You just look fit as. You look like a snack. I think, yeah, that's actually a good myth. I feel like you'll look bulky when you have body fat, in my opinion. So muscle is not bulk. It's body fat that's bulk.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. I think so many people are scared of getting bulky and they won't train
Mm.
hard because they don't want to get bulky. And like, I wish it was that easy to just
To
stack
build
on
muscle.
muscle because it's not. It
Yeah,
takes years and years and years of
absolutely.
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you share how you mentally prepare leading up to a competition? Is there anything you do aside from like the journaling and meditation that you've already spoken about?
Yeah. So probably it's definitely all of the like the journaling, the meditation and stuff. But I think mentally preparing for comp and let's just say it's like peak week, I think really trying to be present in the moment and be grateful for your support networks that have helped you get, like, it's a journey, right? And you need a really good support network, and be grateful for showing up for yourself and also for everyone around you, your coach. Being really present in the moment is a really cool way to soak up all of that positive energy, and going into even show day as well, like being really present on stage, I think is so invaluable, because if you're kind of in your own head and you're like freaking out, you may not have like the best experience. I think you've just really got to focus on having fun and really embracing the enjoyment of it, because it's such a fun experience. Like it's so fun. Like be fully grateful for the excitement and the hype around it, because it's over. And then you're just like, oh, I want to do it again.
Yes, it is over so quickly, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. And what's something you wish you were told at the start of your bodybuilding journey?
Something I wish I was told. I would say, um, like something along the lines that anything is possible, and if you want it, believe it, and it will happen.
Yeah, I love that. And for anyone wanting to follow your journey, where can they find you online if they're not already following you?
Yeah, so my personal page is Kaylah.Holmes on Instagram. I also have YouTube, which I think is Kaylah Holmes or something as well. And also my coaching page, which is Flex Coaching _
Amazing. We will tag all of those down below so that people can go and follow and inquire if they're interested in coaching as well. Do you have
Woohoo.
any final words of advice or a message that you want to share with any listeners who are aspiring to reach the levels that you've achieved?
Oh, any last messages? I think like if you're in this space and you're in this world, then just give yourself a pat on the back and realize deeply that it's just the beginning, and just back yourself, trust yourself. Look at how far you would have come already, like from the start of your journey, and yeah, just keep being your best self. I think that's probably the best advice.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think this was an incredibly positive and valuable episode for anyone interested in competing and just leveling up in any area of life as well.
Oh, that's so nice. I hope so. Thanks so much for having me on, Sarah.
No worries. And thank you to our listeners as well. If you could take a moment to follow and rate this podcast on whatever platform you're listening on, and share this episode to your stories, tag Kaylah and tag the Comp Closet. We would be so grateful, and it really helps us to keep growing and put more valuable content out there to help you.